Hello everybody, John Craig here with Performance Plus Tennis. Welcome to today's video. We're going to take a look at the serve of Jack Draper, who just won the BNP Paribas Open 2025 out in Indian Wells. I had the pleasure of filming him last week out in the desert, and he was serving beautifully during practice. Big part of why he won this tournament. So we're going to take a good look at his serve today and feature some of the things that you can incorporate into your serve to improve your serve performance. So let's go ahead and get started right from the beginning here. So let's go back and take a look at Jack's setup. And let's get back here to the beginning. And first thing we want to take a look at is his feet. And you can see here that the alignment of his feet is well beyond sideways to his target. You can see that. But he's also a pinpoint server, so he will be moving that left foot up, but we'll take a look at that shortly. But his setup is very sideways to his target line, so we can get great shoulder rotation and drive into his serve. So we'll take a look at that. The other thing I want you to notice too here, and this is one thing that a lot of recreational players don't do, is have the racket literally on an angle where it's underneath on this angle. A lot of recreational players will have the racket the other way, where the strings that are going to hit the ball are actually facing downward at this point. But with Jack, he's got his strings actually facing more upward. So if he were to look down at this stage, he would actually see the side of the strings that are going to contact the ball. That is really important for how you're going to avoid the waiter's tray and enter into the serve to have a really good motion, and we'll get into that a little bit more as well. So let's watch him here. As he enters into his serve, he's going to rock back and get his weight on his back foot, and his weight's going to stay back until the ball leaves his hand, and we can see that right there. The ball's leaving his hand now. His weight is still clearly on the back foot. We can see that. Back foot is down, and then once the ball leaves and his right arm continues to rise, tossing arm, that's going to draw him into his trophy position. And now the back foot's coming up and loading in. And here he is. He's loading in beautifully, and that's his trophy position. So key features of the trophy position: balance, stored energy, stored power. He's got a very, very strong tossing arm that's stretching up underneath the ball. His elbow is in perfect position here, perfectly in line with his shoulders. His shoulders are on at least a 45-degree angle. The elbow is in a perfect position. His hips, shoulders, everything's lined up beautifully. The only thing I would say that's maybe a little suspect here, surprising actually, is that his back foot, his left foot, is actually moved beyond his right foot. We can see that there. See that? It's beyond the foot there. So if anything, I would probably tuck that left foot in so that's completely in line with the right foot. So the feet would be inside, say, that line there. So just a subtle thing, okay, because you can see his feet are a little bit out of alignment with his hip angle. So if we take a look at his feet here, his feet are on this angle, and his knees are on this angle, and you can see his hips are more this way. So a little misalignment, but very subtle. Otherwise, his trophy position is absolutely perfect. So let's go ahead and watch him here now, and he's loaded in with his legs, and now watch. We're going to take a look at that ball toss height net. Let's take a look at that. So let's mark that. I always love to talk about ball toss height because there's a lot of different theories on it and different coaches that have different concepts and theories. But let's take a look at, just for a moment, see how much his ball actually falls. Okay, right. Let's call this the contact right there. So we'll put right about there. So if we look at the distance, the range between these two lines, quite surprisingly, that's longer than the range of the line from the top of his racket to his handle. So you can see that measurably is probably about a 28 to 30-inch ball drop. But if we watch that in real time, it looks like it's very little. But that's the illusion of it all. So if we watch this and just watch how quickly this goes, it looks like it hardly falls at all. But indeed, it does fall about 30 inches. Next up, once the ball gets to the peak, he is loaded in beautifully here. And then once the ball begins to descend, he pulls that right hand away, starts driving with the legs up to the ball. Now, another thing I want to look at here is that he gets less leg drive or leg bend than a lot of players do. He doesn't get to 90 degrees like so many players do. And I think this is important as a recreational player because for most of us, we're not going to get the same degree of leg bend. But what this proves here is that you really don't need it. You don't need to get an extreme leg bend. But if you get a nice flex in the legs, store some energy, create a little pressure on the court so you can push up, you can get adequate power for sure. So let's go ahead and watch him again here. Ball's beginning to descend. The right arm's going to pull away, and we're going to watch him push up and rotate around into contact. And now look at that contact position. It's beautiful. And look at the beautiful angle here in his shoulders for contact. And let's get that contact right there. And I'm also going to put a line where the ball is right down right down through his shoulders. There we go. And you can see that that contact point is inside the shoulder, or just above the shoulder, or slightly inside the shoulder. That's where you want to be to create maximum pronation into the ball, so you can really get that long axis rotation power through your contact. If you're out here in this area, it's going to weaken your serve. You're not going to be able to get that long axis pronation. So make sure your ball toss is in that ideal spot right there, right above or just slightly inside the shoulder. Okay? You can see here he's got a beautiful 45-degree angle once again, maybe slightly more than that. At contact, looking really, really good. Everything is great here. Now watch the racket turn over and look at it go pass over the hand and then turn over. No wrist snap. Just great rotation, and then watch this ball just jump out to the side, hits the perfect spot in the court, and it's gone. Ace right into the back wall, right into Welby's wall. For those of you who wonder what Welby's wall is all about, real quick, Welby Van Horn is a famous coach that actually coached Charlie Passerelle, and Welby was a very famous coach back in the 50s and 60s. He had 2 courts at a hotel in Puerto Rico, and he developed multiple champions. And Charlie Passerelle had the greatest regard for Welby, who really gave Charlie his chance of being a successful professional. Therefore, when Charlie was so influential in the Indian Wells project, they built Welby's wall in the practice courts. So, quick side note there. Okay, let's keep going. And let's take a look here again at his serve. And what we're going to do is we're going to go over here to the ad court here in just a moment. Let's take a look here. I want to go to the ad court and show you what we see here. Okay, so once again, we've got an outstanding stance. We've got the racket strings pointing up. Looks really good. He does a beautiful routine. I love his little waggle, too. He does a little waggle here, and then he goes up and leads with the right arm. For those of you who follow me, you know I'm a big advocate of us leading with the right, with the tossing arm, and trailing with your racket arm. This sets up a beautiful lag that allows for natural throwing motion and great rotation and acceleration with the racket head. So here we go. Up with the ball, loads in, and here's what I want you to see here again. The timing of this, you're going to see that his right arm, or his tossing arm in this case, is going to pull away and tuck, and the legs are going to drive. These two things are going to happen simultaneously, and then he's going to rotate around. And what's beautiful here is a contact. That's beautiful contact. Let's clean it up. You can see that his right arm, because he's a lefty, is tucked underneath, and you can see that. And here it is. It's holding right there, holding, and here she comes. Okay, and there's no power X in this, by the way. There's no such thing as a real power X in professional tennis. So the idea of holding that arm and tucking it and having it hold your body and control you as you swing through is it true? It's true. It's not a myth. But the X, the deliberate X at the end is a myth. It's not a reality. And then he comes down with perfect balance, and he's ready to play the point. Looks like he hit another beautiful serve there. So key things. You'll see here that he has a beautiful, we're going to start from the beginning here. We're going to take a look. You're going to see that he has a very meaningful routine as we watch him here. I love this routine where he bounces the ball a few times, then he resets his hands, and then he bounces again. And then he does a little waggle here, like a little fake start right there to get his rhythm, and he goes right into it and plays it. So overall, great serve, beautiful mechanics, beautiful technique, beautiful ball toss height, beautiful rhythm, positioning, use of the right arm. He has a very, very efficient and professional quality serve, of course, and he served 10 aces today at the BNP Paribas Open, and he had no double faults. So he's got a beautiful, beautiful serve, and I suspect that we're going to see Jack Draper hanging around the top 10 here for quite a while. Finally, you can see he's coming at that ball on the razor's edge. That's beautiful. Looks like he's going to cut that ball right in half, and as he extends the arm, through the shoulder goes, and there it goes, and there's your power. So into the ball, here we got forearm and shoulder rotation blending together to create that racket at speed that you want to work on. So that's it. Beautiful serve for Jack. Feel free to leave your comments down below, ask questions, subscribe to the channel if you've not done so already, give us a like, stick around. We got a lot more coming here at Performance Plus Tennis, and we'll see you in the next lesson.